So we got one of the most interesting parts about baseball is the division race, and in this case, the Atlanta Braves, the New York Mets. We have one of the most interesting races to division because both these teams are so close and so skilled, and they both had pretty solid off seasons. So I'm gonna go through it, just kind of do a little deep dive on the teams, and then eventually give my prediction on who wins the NL East. I've got four categories for both teams: rotation, lineup, defense, and bullpen. I'm gonna give each category like a quick rating. Don't look too deep into the rating. I'm just gonna say a couple of the names, like the lineup, how I think they'll look, or the rotation, how I think it'll look, and like who does each team have in the bullpen. Just if you want to know what guys are there, so you can form your own opinion, because that's baseball. So you can form your own opinion based on the guys I'll list. It's the main guys that will get the most playing time. Starting off with the New York Mets rotation, I gave it an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. I think the only 10 out of 10 rotation would probably be like the Dodgers. So the Mets, they have Jacob deGrom, by far the best pitcher in baseball. You have Noah Syndergaard, he'll be coming back in around June. He had Tommy John last year. Marcus Stroman opted out last year, so we'll see what he still has. Carlos Carrasco, they also picked up in the Francisco Lindor trade. He's good, and then they picked up Joey Lucchesi from the Padres this year. So this is a very good rotation. The only problem is the question marks from Syndergaard coming back. Stroman didn't play last year, and Carrasco just had kind of cancer. So that's why it's an 8. The thing with the Mets is they have a really good team on paper. The Mets can kind of Mets it up is what I like to call it. As a team can get dysfunctional throughout the year, they can get unlucky with injuries. So this rotation is really good on paper. There's possibility for falter. Go to the Atlanta Braves rotation, which I ranked at a 7. They made a big move this year that kind of went under the radar because it happened right at the start. So you got Max Fried, who just kind of turned into the ace after last year, Mike Soroka, Charlie Morton, the offseason pickup, Ian Anderson, and then they have like a rotating 5-man. You got Kyle Wright, Bryce Wilson, Drew Smyly. This is another rotation that could go one of two ways, really. Max Fried was a pretty solid pitcher, and then he had a big jump, but it was only like 15 starts in the entire year with playoffs. Mike Soroka got injured through the year last year. We missed him. Charlie Morton's pretty solid. Charlie Morton's the only non-question mark. Ian Anderson is a rookie and had like a sub-2 ERA, which is kind of crazy, but he's still just a rookie with just a couple of starts. And then you got Kyle Wright, who was okay during the regular season, stunk it up in the playoffs. Bryce Wilson, who was all right this season and had one really good start in the NLCS. And then you got Drew Smyly, who's like an average starter who will probably take this 5 spot and put Kyle Wright and Bryce Wilson in the bullpen. So 8 for the Mets, 7 for the Braves rotation. Let's go to the Mets lineup. Leading off, I got Brandon. Oh, you can have a different lineup as well. This is just how I want to see it happen. Leading off, you got Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, big pickup. Michael Conforto, really coming into his own. Pete Alonso, bad 2020, but still that amazing 2019. Jeff McNeil, super solid player. I don't know if he's going to play second base or the outfield. He's a top 5 second baseman if he's playing second base. Dominic Smith had a great 2020, great first baseman. James McCann, big catcher pickup. J.D. Davis can definitely hit and play some good third base. And then you got Jacob deGrom, obviously the pitcher, because there's no DH. So I really like that lineup. I gave that lineup an 8, which is really solid. Lindor, we'll see what he does for this lineup. I mean, this is kind of built like when he was in Cleveland when they were competing, and they had like him and Kipnis, and it was Carlos Santana, Jose Ramirez. I think I'm forgetting someone. Like, they kind of have that with Nimmo, Conforto, Alonso, McNeil. I'm seeing similarities there. Also, the pitching. This Mets team really reminds me of like the 2016 Indians, 2017 Indians when they went to the World Series there. So that's good. Now the Atlanta Braves lineup, which is their strong suit. So the Braves lineup was an 8. I give the Atlanta Braves lineup a 9 because you got Ronald Acuna Jr., MVP candidate last year. Freddie Freeman won the MVP last year. Marcell Ozuna, who they officially re-signed, he finished 6th in MVP last year. Travis d'Arnaud, who's been like a traveling catcher and then finally had a really good 2020. We'll see if he keeps it up though. But then you got Ozzie Albies in the 5 spot, and Ozzie Albies is a top 3 second baseman. You have Dansby Swanson, who had a good 2020, and it's just like a little bit above average shortstop. I think he's a top 15 shortstop. Austin Riley, who I'm not that big of a fan of, but he's young and he can hit some home runs. And then you got Christian Pache, who I'm really excited about, one of the best defensive center fielders in the league next year is what I'm expecting. He had a really good rookie season. And then Fried starting. So Braves lineup is a 9, Mets lineup is an 8. Defense, I gave the Braves a 9. I gave the Mets an 8. The Braves, that's kind of their thing. It's defense and hitting. If only they didn't have Marcell Ozuna playing left field, if they had the DH again, and they could put like Ender and Ciarte, this team is a 10 defensively. Like, so many great defenders on this team. Mets, 8 is not bad. Lindor really raises that ceiling. McNeil's a good defender. Conforto's a really good defender. So that was the defense, lineup, and rotation. Let's go to the bullpen now. Bullpen, this is the last little category before I just kind of talk about the teams in total. And this is the category that can really make or break your team in the playoffs. And the Braves don't have it. We'll start with the Braves bullpen. You got Will Smith. Okay, I mean, he's not a terrible closer. Then it kind of falls off a cliff. Chris Martin, all right. Tyler Matzik, cool 2020 playoffs. AJ Minter, not a big fan. Sean Newcomb, not a big fan. And then you're going to have Bryce Wilson, Kyle Wright. I heard an interview of Alex Anthopoulos, the Braves GM. He said he still wants to add more bullpen pieces, and this team needs more bullpen pieces if they want to really contend in the playoffs, because you can't lock down games with Tyler Matzik, Chris Martin, Will Smith. I just don't know. Now, so I gave that bullpen a 6. I gave the Mets bullpen a 7.5 because it added some nice names this offseason. Yeah, Edwin Diaz, who is always shaky, but he's still a closer. Seth Lugo, who they're actually going to use in the bullpen this year. I really like him. Trevor May, I really like him. Big pickup. Dylan Betances is also still kind of shaky. And then they have this rookie, David Peterson, who's pretty good for them. So that's kind of like just some of the names in the bullpen. Obviously, there's more than 5 bullpen guys, but those are the main guys who are going to get innings. I'm really glad they brought in May and they started putting Lugo back in the bullpen, because it was kind of risky when you had Edwin Diaz and Dylan Betances trying to lock down games. So here to show you that the ratings don't really matter, I gave the Mets all these ratings, and it came out to 31.5, and then I gave the Braves all these ratings, and it came out to 31. So that 0.5 from the Mets bullpen really, I guess the Mets are much better than the Mets now if I did the rating. Wait, the Mets are much better than the Braves if I did this rating. It doesn't matter. The rating doesn't really matter that much. My final thoughts on who wins the NL East will come up right now. The Braves have won the NL East the past 3 years. The Mets have missed the playoffs the past 3 years. My official prediction is the Braves win the NL East, but if these teams were to meet in the playoffs, I like the Mets a lot more. Now, I'm going to pick the Braves just because Syndergaard, when he gets back in June, I don't know how much I love that rotation right now without him. And I like this Braves rotation when the Mets don't have Syndergaard. When this Mets get Syndergaard back, and this lineup has figured it out, and they can use their bullpen over the Braves bullpen, I like the Mets a lot more in a playoff series. Throughout the course of a season, and the regular season doesn't matter as much as the playoffs, over the course of the regular season, I like this Braves team. So I think that's going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one of these for Padres, Dodgers, or who's going to win the AL East. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Thank you guys for the support. I've gained 25 subscribers in the last 25 days, so it's been pretty cool. If you're watching this video and you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, comment, and I'm out. Peace.